Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate filings. Today we're dissecting an 8K filing from INNODATA Incorporated, and let's just say it is not exactly a thrill. A minute ride, but we'll find the nuggets before we dive in. If you like getting clear, no-nonsense explanations of what these big companies are up to, make sure you are subscribed. And hey, we've got a killer Discord community where we break down these filings even further, with the link right there in the description. So what exactly is this Form 8K all about? Well, think of it as a company's way of telling the public about major events that happen between their bigger, more regular reports. It is like a quick news bulletin for investors. This particular 8K is from INNODATA Incorporated, and it was filed on the 26th of February 2026. The big news here, as indicated by the earliest event reported date, is that on the 26th of February 2026, INNODATA Incorporated released a press release. This press release was all about their financial results for the fourth quarter and the full year of 2025. Now, a lot of these 8K filings can be pretty dry, filled with legal jargon and formalities. But when they talk about financial results, that is where the real story often is. Essentially, they're giving us a snapshot of how the company performed financially over the last 3 months of 2025 and for the entire year. This is crucial information for anyone who owns their stock or is thinking about investing. It tells us if the company is growing, shrinking, or staying flat. Think of it like checking your own bank account to see if you are making or losing money. And the press release itself is included as an exhibit, which is basically an attachment to the official filing. We are going to focus on what that press release says about their finances. This section just lists what documents are being filed along with the main report. In this case, it is the press release itself, marked as Exhibit 99.1, and something called the cover page interactive data file, which is just a fancy way for computers to read the filing. Now, while this 8K is short on details itself, it tells us that the real meat is in that press release. Unfortunately, that press release isn't included in the text provided for this analysis. However, based on the structure of an 8K like this, the press release would contain the actual financial numbers. Usually, companies will highlight key performance indicators like revenue, net income, earnings, per share, and sometimes compare them to the same period in the previous year. For example, if the press release showed that their revenue grew by 10%, that is a good sign. It means they're selling more products or services. If their net income, which is their profit after all expenses, dropped by 20%, that would be a red flag. It could mean their costs went up, or they had some one-time expenses that hit their bottom line. When a company reports its financial results, we always want to ask a few key questions. Are they growing? Are they profitable? And are they doing better than their competitors? Even though we don't have the exact numbers here, the fact that they issued this 8K means they've made some announcements about their financial performance that they believe are important enough to share with the public. Looking at this filing, it is a bit like getting a report card that says, "See attached sheet," without giving you the sheet. We know the report was issued detailing their fourth quarter and full year 2025 results. What we're missing are the actual performance numbers. However, we can infer a few things. Companies typically issue 8KS about financial results when they have something significant to report, whether it is good or bad. It could be a record-breaking quarter, or it could be a period of significant challenges. The timing of the filing as soon as possible after the event, the 26th of February for events on the same day showers. They are trying to keep the market informed in a timely manner. Let's imagine what might have been in that press release. For the full year 2025, a company like INNODATA Incorporated might report its total revenue. If, for instance, revenue was reported at $100 million for 2025, and for 2024 it was $80 million, that is a 25% increase, which is fantastic growth. Then they might look at their profit if their earnings per share, a key metric for investors, went from $1 to $1.2. That is also a positive sign suggesting increased profitability. But what if the story was different? Imagine the press release said their revenue was flat and their net income had dipped by 15%. That might suggest they are facing headwinds. Perhaps competition is increasing or their costs are rising faster than they can raise prices. In business, this is like seeing your expenses creep up while your earnings stay the same. Eventually, you start losing money. It is also important to look for any commentary from the company's management in the press release. They might explain why the results are what they are. For example, they might say, "Our revenue growth was driven by strong demand in our new product line." Or, "Our profits were impacted by supply chain disruptions and increased raw material costs." Understanding the why is just as important as understanding the what. INNODATA Incorporated operates in a space that often involves data and technology services. Companies in this sector can be very sensitive to economic cycles. When businesses are flush with cash, they tend to invest more in data solutions and technology. When times are tougher, these investments are often put on hold. So their financial results would likely reflect the broader economic climate. We are missing the actual numbers today. But the structure of this 8K filing tells us that INNODATA Inc. is fulfilling its regulatory duty to inform investors about its performance. The core of its message lies within the furnished press release. For any investor, it is crucial to find and read that press release. Now, looking at these results more broadly, even without the specifics, we can assess INNODATA Incorporated's direction based on typical corporate reporting. Companies that are doing well usually highlight revenue growth, increasing profitability, and strategic initiatives that are paying off. They might also talk about expanding into new markets or launching innovative products. Conversely, if a company is struggling, the press release might focus on cost-cutting measures, restructuring, or plans to navigate challenging economic conditions. They might also downplay negative numbers by emphasizing non-GAAP measures or focusing on long-term potential. Some notable risks for a company like this could include intense competition, rapid technological changes that make their services obsolete, or economic downturns that reduce client spending. Opportunities often lie in emerging technologies, expanding into new geographic regions, or catering to unmet needs in the market. The story here, without the actual data, is one of disclosure and transparency. INNODATA Incorporated has reported on its financial health for the fiscal year 2025. The significance of this filing lies entirely in the content of the press release it references. Without reading that press release, we can only speculate about the successes or challenges the company faced. However, the act of filing this 8K signifies a commitment to keeping stakeholders informed, which is a fundamental aspect of corporate governance. Alright, that is our breakdown of INNODATA Incorporated's 8K filing. While the financial specifics were in an attached document we can't access, we've discussed what kind of information you typically find and why it matters. What is your take on what this filing signifies for INNODATA Incorporated, even without the numbers? That is for you to decide once you read the actual press release. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out our Discord community in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.